President Trump is expected to sign into law his massive budget bill. You're looking at the White House right there, and we cannot wait. We will take you there live when it happens. Republicans in Congress, after days of wrangling and last-minute votes, had the opportunity to get that Senate version of the package to the president's desk in time for his 4th of July deadline.
There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago when Congress passed the one big, beautiful bill to make America great again.
NewsNation's Joe Khalil is at the White House. Joe, what else is the administration saying about getting this key piece of legislation across the finish line?
Well, it's pretty much full victory lap mode right now, Nick. They're actually having that celebration. As you mentioned, it's a big barbecue that I believe is going to be on the South Lawn here of the White House later on this evening as President Trump signs that bill into law. There's reason for President Trump to be happy about this today. This is very likely the most important bill that he has gotten passed through Congress, not just in this term, but in his last term as well. Whether you love or hate this bill, it is going to be consequential. And so they are taking a victory lap here. Certainly, it was not an easy process by any means. It took a lot of months of wrangling and negotiating between the White House and Republican leaders on Capitol Hill in both the House and the Senate. Ultimately, they got there yesterday. Again, not without a last-minute drama, as is becoming usual now. But it took about 24 hours on the House floor from Wednesday to Thursday. There was a group of House Republicans that eventually were no's that became yeses after meeting with President Trump at the White House. I want to talk about that group in just a minute. First, let's remind folks what is actually in this bill, how it's going to impact them at home. President Trump's tax promises that he made on the campaign trail. No tax on tips and overtime. The $2,200 child tax credit is becoming law now, as is a new $1,000 newborn baby account. There are also some key components here in terms of spending. $157 billion for defense, $150 billion for border security and for ICE. And of course, the most controversial part of this, Medicaid and SNAP, which are food benefits, overhauled. And that's about $1 trillion plus in cuts that the government is making. So there's serious concern about whether the Medicaid rollback is actually going to leave millions of Americans without that Medicaid coverage. Republicans have argued that is not going to be the case. They say people who will lose their Medicaid are people who never should have been on it in the first place, people who are undocumented and people who are able-bodied adults. Democrats, though, and a handful of Republicans and conservatives are concerned that people who actually should be on Medicaid could get caught up in that and lose their coverage, and it could have a ripple effect through the healthcare industry. So we will see. Time will tell how that works. Back to this group of Republicans that came to the White House. They became no's. They went to yeses after they say President Trump made them promises for later on. We don't know what those promises are. We don't know what they were guaranteed that got them to actually vote for this bill. But we tried to find out yesterday on Capitol Hill. Take a listen. Sir, you were a no yesterday, and after some meeting at the White House, all of a sudden there were a bunch of people who were yes. The public can read the bill, but the public has no idea what got you all from no to yes. So is it? That's right. So I mean, what would you say to people who are wondering how you changed so drastically?
They know the reputation of the Freedom Caucus. The reputation is we've been fighting for fiscal restraint for 10 years now, and we were not going to move off that dime. We were going to oppose the bill. I was going to vote no for the without these agreements we came to last night. I was a hard no on this bill. These agreements are significant.
So he didn't say what those agreements were, Nick. He called them significant. He also told me they may come in the form of executive orders down the road. So we will see eventually, we think, what President Trump promised that group to get them from no to ultimately voting for this bill.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.